Good people can and do go through some bad times. In recent years, we've seen more of that than ever.
Yeah.
I was trying to get through the other thing, and then you threw.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I get
It's
it.
my
Job
fault. I'll
losses,
just sit here and not say anything.
homes losing value, tough economic times have ruined many families.
Yeah, no, it really is true. And there really is hope, though, and there's a lot of help out there. So join me now in welcoming the lady of the law, Felicia Walker, with the law firm of Emery, Kast & Walker, a law firm here in Jacksonville dedicated to helping good people through some pretty tough times. You know, it's unfortunate, but with today's economy, people are finding themselves in some very difficult situations and not really knowing where to turn and how to get help and how to get out of it. So I know that you have been on, and the other partners with your law firm have been on in previous weeks, but what do you really want to focus on today for people getting help?
Well, in the last few weeks, we have been discussing how people who are already in foreclosure can stop foreclosure, or if they're behind in their mortgage payments, how we can help catch them up. But today we want to talk about those homeowners who aren't necessarily behind, but are underwater in their homes. More than 50% of the homes in Jacksonville and the surrounding areas are currently underwater.
I'm going to stop you for a second because I just want people, a lot of people do know what that term means, underwater, but for those who don't, what does it mean when your home is
means
underwater?
that you owe more on your home than it's currently worth.
Okay, yeah.
So for anybody that's underwater on their homes, or they're dealing with high interest rates right now, is there something that can be done about that?
Yes, there is actually. Many of them have already tried to get modifications through their lenders directly, and they've been advised to skip payments in order to qualify for the modification program, only to find out that that didn't work at all. There's a miscommunication with the banks, or the banks aren't necessarily set up for the modification process. So what the bankruptcy court here in Jacksonville has done, and in Orlando is the first division to try it, was to implement the bankruptcy mortgage modification program through Chapter 13. And that is an excellent program that they've implemented. In Orlando, they have more than a 75% success rate for debtors who participate in the program.
Wow.
Did you say lenders are encouraging people who are underwater to skip payments on their mortgages?
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, you like to think it wasn't so, but homeowners would contact the bank or their servicers and be told that in order to be considered for modification, they had to be at least 3 months behind. So homeowners would do just that, and then find out later that when they've submitted their mortgage modification packages, that the banks would say, or their servicers would say, that they didn't receive them, or, I mean, up to 5 and 6 times the clients would submit packages, in fact have certified receipts, return receipts where the bank did receive them and have proof, and then, you know, go through this process for 6 months or even a year, all the while not making payments on the advice of the lender, and then be served with notices of intent to accelerate where they're calling the note due, or be served with foreclosure papers, all the while where they're trying to get help from their bank.
Aren't there any kind of sanctions or any government watching them, making sure that this process is being handled properly?
Outside of the program, no. The Obama administration had set up, you know, they did the big bailout for the banks, and in return for the billions of dollars they received, they were supposed to analyze and review mortgages or homeowners for the HAMP, or the Home Affordable Modification Program. The problem is that there isn't any teeth to that. There's no agency that regulates the banks to make sure that they did what they promised to do. The difference with the bankruptcy mortgage modification program through Chapter 13 is you have a federal judge that issues an order that requires your lender or your servicer to participate, and there's deadlines established for compliance, and all of those problems that the homeowners experienced before are controlled by a judge. You also have an experienced attorney or legal team there to make sure that the bank plays by the rules, and they can be sanctioned by the federal judge if they fail to cooperate.
So now, if someone's watching and they're finding themselves and they're perhaps skipping mortgage payments, what do you recommend that they do to try to get through this, to get their home, you know, out from underneath it? Yeah, or even to keep it.
Well, the first thing is to consult with a bankruptcy professional or an attorney or legal team that's experienced in doing this. It's a tricky process if you don't know what you're doing. So the first thing is to get help. It's a free consultation, and there are a lot of options available, sometimes even less than 31%. And it also includes principal reductions. We've seen those for our clients, principal deferrals, where your mortgage payment is based on what the value of your home is currently. And by the way, that 31% includes your insurance, taxes, homeowners association fees, so it's really a great thing. But you have to call and get help and advice, and it costs nothing to do so.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily have to come in and file a Chapter 13 or what you were talking about. You can help through the process and getting this handled.
There are options available without filing Chapter 13, and people are afraid to do that because sometimes they don't have other financial issues. The good thing about the program is that you can file a Chapter 13, participate, and once you receive your modification, you can dismiss your bankruptcy and go on from there.
Yeah, and one thing that you guys had talked about when you'd come on before is that you see so many people that just like to turn a blind eye to the situation. And I was really kind of struck by, you talked about one specific experience of someone bringing in bag after bag of credit card bills and receipts and things that, and bills from, you know, who knows. Because
unopened.
they didn't want to, they were unopened because they didn't want to realize what they were going through.
It's the biggest mistake we see, and it literally is a trip to the office or to you know, a bankruptcy attorney to find out what those options are. And we just see a huge sense of relief. I mean, our clients become our friends, really, because you help them, you know, get rid of that stress and reorganize their debt to where they can go on and lead happier lives, because financial stress is the absolute worst.
Yeah, no, and so the bottom line is...
Don't bury your head in the sand.
Don't be an
because
ostrich,
all it's going
no.
to do is surmount and become this thing that you feel like you can't do anything
It
about.
makes it much worse.
There are
And don't
options.
believe what you hear your friends and family tell you either, because there's a lot of myths about what bankruptcy is or what a modification process entails, and certainly avoid non-attorneys who are out there charging money to do that. It's against the law now. So,
Okay.
because there's a
Go
lot
see
of
the
fraud.
experts.
See the
Go
experts.
see the lady of the law.
Ladies of the
lady of the law.
Thank you.
You gotta say it right.
Ladies of the law.
That's right.
Right.
Well, we'd
Say
like
it
to
so
thank
much better than that.
the lady of the law, Felicia Walker, for her advice, and thanks to Emery, Kast, and Walker for sponsoring this segment. Remember, the biggest mistake that you can make when facing financial hardships is to bury your head in the sand.
So the legal team of Emery, Kast, and Walker understands that you're going through some tough times. They are there to help good people in bad times. You can visit their website at www.jackslawyer.com or call them 904-404-3394 for a free consultation to
What did
find
you say,
solutions.
free?
Free
You say
consultation.
free consultation?
Yes, I did. I said
That's free.
There you go.